what we're listening to here with the track that I think you need to hear, which you probably haven't. So one of the things about Gilbert is because he's been doing it for a while, he had the having the longevity that he's displayed over the years. He's been able to do music with some very well-known artists. One of which was one of my favorite lyricists of all time, but also from more specifically from Houston, is K-Rino. K-Rino is Scarface's favorite lyricist. And Scarface being one of mine, I mean, that tells you something. But I want you to hear this track. It's called Goblinz.
Work your ass up. Master, you looking at a monster. But before you judge me, just look at how I was brought up. Raised around ghouls, gremlins, and goblins. Gargoyles, posting on corners, serving the zombies. Ogres burning purple, leather, sipping white goblins. Wait till the sun sets and you can hear the lions howling. Witches selling pussy, burn your soul with the virus. Voodoo priests sacrificing they own to the highest. Vampires sit behind tinted benches and a powder. Mountain high, turn out the checker into with a hiding. Ghost riders, turn your whole block into a graveyard. Pray to God, but angels don't come around, these bars are dark. You can find me blowing dope with the ghost on the porch. Then stay around the corner, Grim Reaper next door. Demons chasing shadows in the fog at the devil's paw. I'll be the Goblin King, I welcome y'all with open arms.
I'll be the Goblin King, I welcome y'all with open arms.
Sometimes the world doesn't need another hero. Sometimes the world doesn't need another hero. Sometimes what it needs is a monster. Sometimes what it needs is a monster. Sometimes what it needs is a monster. Sometimes what it needs is a monster.
I'ma step up my efforts, bruh. Weapons and plethoras. You step through the depth of the sick, devilish replicas. Under the pressure of disease, secular cephalus. The werewolf fang slowly injecting to the neck of us. We wrecking phonies with testimonies. Shedding ponies chasing cause we stay on top of our cheese like pepperoni. Serpents got murk when they crept up on me. Cause like Shan, I left them lonely with his clique standing over they breathless homie. Guilty or not, you have to get dropped. Cause when I rap with Witch Dot, I end up channeling Alfred Hitchcock. We might just be your whole team in darkness. I orbit on a genie carpet. Boys didn't believe me till they seen me walking. Your soul and body needs to separate. I read sermons so great that they can make Satan drop cake in the collection plate. They'll mourn you once that sheet adorn you. Cause once I'm done stomping on you, my shoes will look like I've been walking in lasagna.
Oh! My shoes will look like I've been walking in lasagna.
Sometimes the world doesn't need another hero. Sometimes what it needs is a monster. Sometimes what it needs is a monster. Sometimes what it needs is a monster. Sometimes what it needs is a monster.
You looking at a monster. But before you touch me, just look at how I was brought up. Raised around ghouls, gremlins, and goblins. Gargoyles, posted on corners, serving the zombies. You looking at a monster. But before you touch me, just look at how I was brought up. Raised around ghouls, gremlins, and goblins. Gargoyles, posted on corners, serving the zombies.
You see the difference?
Yeah, that went from like, okay, to like, whoa.
Right.
That would have been like on an album, that would have been like the track that
The
was
track,
that
right.
was the track. Because what would have been good was this was released like right around Halloween.
So
You know?
this was released years ago.
This song?
This song, but it just, it's one of those things where that's the beauty of underground hip hop, especially underground Texas hip hop, is that there's always jewels stashed away that you not everyone's heard of. And so like coming up in Texas and then later joining the Marine Corps back in 1999, and I talked about this in one of my podcast episodes, like we're forced to interact with guys that aren't from our vicinity, right? We're our origin, our point of origin. And so, you know, we compare notes and we have conversations and discussions, sometimes long form discussions carried out over hours of or days of field time or operations, you know, when we're in combat or on ship, and you dig deep into the meaning behind that lyric or that verse or that beat, or even what that album meant in the discography of that artist in terms of like a turning point in his musical career. And one of the things that I always had in my back pocket were K-Rino tracks, Bam, Zero, Face, you know, individuals like that most people haven't heard before. And then when it came down to it and an instrumental was dropped down, well, I had ammunition saved up like magazines in my back pocket from verses and shit that I wrote from years prior. And you'd be surprised how surprised some of my fellow Marines and sailors were when they saw me either grab a microphone or just spit in the air. But that was, like I said, you know, earlier about Gilbert, that pugilistic environment that we came up in. You had to be able to hold your own. But the fact that, you know, Gilbert was able to hold his own with K-Rino, because neither verse felt like they were off, right? No. K-Rino's a legend, and Gilbert, in his imagery, like when he talks about he's smoking on the porch with ghosts. Well, the way that I took that is the times in which I went to go have a cigarette on the porch and thought about close friends, brothers, family members that are no longer here with me. And you take that time to reflect upon their memory, the times that we spent together. He talks about the vampires behind tinted windows, meaning the predatory drug dealers in our hometown that preyed upon the weakness of others, right? Infecting them with that sickness so that they had to keep coming back, and they sustained their livelihood off of their chemical dependency, right? And the way that he talked about riders coming through and leaving your whole neighborhood like graveyards. I mean, we had gang wars in Galveston, and you know, Gilbert and I were both exposed to that in varying degrees. I stayed away from it for the most part, but learned to become adept at violence so that I kept it away from me. Because, you know, when I was 15, 16, and I lost a real close friend of mine to gang violence, the lesson was tomorrow's not promised to us. You die in a day. And the ability to continue in an environment like that was predicated on your ability to defend yourself. And so, you know, when I fight with you about getting to jiu-jitsu, it's more than just about wanting you to do what I do. It's about wanting you to be prepared to handle whatever comes your way. Now, I don't need to teach you how to shoot a pistol just yet, but I do need you to know how to defend yourself when somebody puts their hands on you. So that's kind of where that comes from. It's informed by those experiences, and Gilbert does a great job of laying all that down in that way. But what do you think about his like supernatural like imagery?
Yeah. For the most part, it was like if you didn't really dig into the lyrics and like thought about it too much, you could like at a party right? You could put this on there, and people who haven't heard this before would be like, "Where has this been?" It's like, cause sometimes I usually kind of like go on Apple Music or SoundCloud and I just listen to random songs, no matter what it is. And if I don't like it, skim. If I do like it, put on my favorites. And then later on in the day, we'll be on the bus ride with my friends, and I'll play it for them, and they're like, "Where did you find this?" I'm like, "I was just looking around." And then I try to encourage more people to kind of like go into like some of the most random songs that they could find, just like laying around, because there's songs out there that should be like on the top charts, and like absolutely crushing some of the top artists' best songs. And
You think this qualifies in that category?
this song qualifies in that category. It's a song that you could put on repeat. It's hype. It sounds like Purple Lamborghini, right?
Okay. Yeah, it's got that same vibe.
Yeah, that same vibe.
Yeah, I could definitely hear myself or see myself, either swinging a kettlebell or rolling jiu-jitsu to a song like this.
It's like a workout song. It's hype. You could play it at a party. You could play it anywhere. And then for those people who like to dig into the lyrics, it's also good for those people because the lyrics are more in depth than most people know.
Yeah.
Because it's like metaphors behind metaphors.
Right. So that concludes this first rough draft of reviews in the hood. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Sammy Sam. This is Chente, and we'll see you on the next episode. Peace.